Greetings, fellow sausages, it's the Countess, and today I'm bringing to you another guide. This one is for the Battle of the Beacon. So this is actually my first time playing, so the first couple of maybe like a minute, 30 seconds, is kind of just me messing around trying to figure out the adventure, so that's not too important, but I promise you guys this is still a totally legitimate guide because I figured out exactly how to do this adventure, and I can teach you too. So this overall footage, if you want to know how long I was playing to get the results that I got, I was playing for 30.7 minutes, so almost 31 minutes. Not too long, but it is a repetitive adventure, just like Graham's Workshop, where you go back and forth doing about the same things. There's a west and east side, so you do both the same things on both sides, but it just goes back and forth, so however long you want to play to earn those diamondy weird things. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing that I'm doing here was kind of just testing out my options of the chompers and the boom seeds, and I wasn't really satisfied, and you'll see in this adventure I wound up just being entirely reckless, and I just let the phantoms kill me because honestly it doesn't give you a consequence other than having to go back, and I think it's the easiest way just to quickly farm these little tubes and such, because it's really just, you're just going for speed, honestly, and it doesn't really matter. So I just didn't end up messing with the phantoms towards the end because there's no consequences, and it's just faster to not have to deal with them, and it's in turn easier. So in order to destroy these pipes, you just left click over and over. I'd say it probably takes like a good 15 seconds of hitting to go ahead and do that. Now granted, this is with phantoms all over you, so it's kind of hard to click it sometimes because the phantoms are covering it, so I might not have an exact statement for everyone because I chose to just let the phantoms swarm me because I didn't really care. But depending on how you're playing, this can be affected, and I'm not sure exactly what the time would be if you were playing super professionally and all the phantoms were dead. But they would still be spewing out of the pipe unless it was like about to be broken. So, I mean, honestly, you'd still have to deal with some stuff. So I just say leave the phantoms alone. I was still done with the adventure just in time. That's about 15 minutes per side, and there's 3 different places in each side, so you're really fine. So speaking of those 3 places, there are 3 little island strips separated by a river. Now on the first one there's like 2 tubes, on the next one maybe 2 to 3, and then on the last one there's usually 3 to 4. So the tubes and the difficulty increase as you're going along. Boom seeds can usually be found on the second one, or there's typically a tree on the third one, which usually needs to be water. But on the second one, I found them in just like a stack. Like I said, I didn't use those, but depending on what your strategies are, you may want to. Now, these phantoms, as you can see, definitely racked up on me in the end. So if you're stressed out by that kind of thing, then I would not go with my strategy. It was pretty annoying, but to be honest, I'm fine with tedious adventures. I'm bored, it's summertime, obviously, so I'm just playing these kinds of things. So it really didn't matter to me that they were all over me, but what is a pain is I will let you know in advance, even before you watch that part. After you destroy all of the pipes and such, the next step is to get rid of all the remaining phantoms. So if you choose to leave them like I do, then you're going to have to kill a lot of phantoms. This was probably the most annoying part for me, was because I had to go back and forth so many times because overall the phantoms are just faster than the boom seeds, and sometimes it would glitch and the boom seeds wouldn't kill any phantoms even though it was clearly right next to them. And that happened with the chomper plants too, actually. One time in the footage, if you look really closely, you'll see it. I forget exactly where it is in the footage, but there is a point in time where my chomper plant looked like it ate the phantom, but it didn't actually eat the phantom, and it was pretty dang annoying. So as you see here, I'm just killing the phantoms with boom seeds. I didn't really think that the chomper plants were very effective, except for when there was one phantom, and like I said, it did glitch on me one time, but if there's just one phantom, no need to waste a boom seed because you'll just need to do it on the other side anyways. Just water a chomper plant, man. They're usually right next to the watering cans, and you can kill off that last phantom. So the next step is going to be to water all of the chomper plants. This at first confused me because I forgot what the difference between boom seeds and chomper plants was, so I was just looking around for boom seed trees, and that was pretty stupid of me, so I probably wasted like 30 seconds. Like I said, if it wasn't your first time playing, you could have gone through the adventure way faster. But anyways, I was very confused at first, but what you do have to do is water all of the chomper plants, which is kind of funny because Greeley says they're kind of your only hope, and he doesn't want to end up in a bad situation without his chomper plants, but I used them like once throughout the whole adventure. But yes, you are going to need to water all of those on all 3 tiers, and each of the tiers there is one of these little water wells close by. For the first one, it's going to be the one in camp, and there's usually one in the middle of the little island strip. So just go to the middle and then go out to each side and water each and every one of the chomper plants. You will not be able to move on until you do that, even if you are not using them. I know it's sort of a pain, but that is actually the last step to do this, so by the time you're getting to the chomper plants, honestly, it didn't really annoy me anymore. The phantoms, yes, did annoy me, but since the chomper plants were the last step after I had been playing for a while, it was kind of a relief to be like, oh my god, this wing is over. So this right here was only one side. There is another side of the map, as you'll see if you see my map being pulled up. You really don't have to play with the map because it's pretty straightforward how it goes. But personally, I just kind of like the look of it, so it's for aesthetic needs more. So speaking of the prizes while we go in this intermediate transition while I'm heading to the other side, unlike Graham's Workshop, this one doesn't have a very popular item like the silver and gold tail armor. This is really a more specified adventure. It's all phantom items. The phantom trees and the phantom grasses and the phantom flowers are my favorite personally. And since Greeley is my favorite alpha, if you did not know, I'm very passionate about him. He's one of my favorite characters, and that's another reason that I like this adventure, because I got to listen to Greeley bossing me around. But I will be using those to decorate his den now that it's come around, and I'll probably use it for a while, and I think that it's more aesthetic if you're going for a phantom-themed den. So if you are interested in trading them, look for either a Greeley enthuse or a phantom enthuse, because those people are willing to trade quite a bit for them. And in general, as I'm decorating the den, I'm sure that I'll be able to trade even more. So while the Greeley den is out, just like right now, that's going to be your prime point to want to trade for them because people are going to want to be decorating for them. Granted, just like Graham's Workshop, you're not going to want to trade right when the adventure is out, but honestly for some people it doesn't really matter because they don't want to play the adventure themselves. So another little nitpicky thing is that actually the gems you don't collect unless you specifically walk over them. So I can't tell you how many times I missed it and then I came back later in the adventure and I was already ready to go on to the next wing, and then I realized that honestly the gem wasn't even picked up. And this was a gem from probably like 10 minutes ago, and I just hadn't picked it up, so you really do have to walk over that gem specifically. And this is a real pain if you leave the phantoms like me, because while you're trying to pick up the gem, the phantoms are swarming over you, and you're going to get all your health diminished before you even get a shot at the pipe. So once again, kind of a pain, but hey, the adventure is a tedious adventure. It's fun, and if you're like me and you enjoy the phantom items, especially for making a Greeley den, then it's worth it, and you kind of get into a rhythm. Like I said with Graham's Workshop when I was doing that tutorial, it is very helpful if you have some music on and you can just kind of drown out what's going on. Since it is a very repetitive adventure with just 3 phases that repeat over and over on the 2 sides and you just go back and forth and it never really ends, towards your 3rd or 4th round you really don't have to worry about it in terms of thinking straight up, and you can kind of just naturally do it. And you don't really have to focus, you can just kind of use some music or whatever, and you'll be pretty good. This isn't really a focusing type of adventure like some of the other ones, because unlike the adventures where you only play it once and then you're typically done because it's like a first time, only time thing. So this adventure you pretty much get used to, just like the other ones that are in this kind of seasonal fashion, Graham's Workshop and such. So, and truthfully, you know, it's not a big deal, and this one is not as important to play as Graham's Workshop, because it's not specifically getting you rare unless you're specifically searching or know someone who is searching for the Phantom or Greeley themed items. So it's up to you whether or not this adventure is important for you to play, but personally I thought it was a fun time, so even if you're not looking for the items, you may still end up picking one up after you're done with your fun old adventure lollygagging position. But yes, this adventure is pretty basic. I'd say it was sort of fun. I had some fun on it. I have fun playing Animal Jam in general. But yeah, it's sort of boring, man. You know, I can't speak miracles for this. But as for an adventure, I'd say it's pretty entertaining, especially considering that it is repetitive, and I'll give it that. So, if you enjoyed this video and you're looking forward to more guides as the adventures roll out, then leave a like and you'll be sent an invisible high five from a hamster. You can subscribe today to become an official fabulous sausage. I will see all of you lovely people next time, but for now, count us out. Don't forget to play the adventure, and I hope that you enjoy if you do.